Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caporello here with John Cummins. And this week we are going to talk about New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. We're going to talk about Excitebike and Super Metroid because those are our crossplay games, Herzog Zwei, Resident Evil 4, and some really, really cool community questions to get into at the end. RetroLogic is the official podcast of Block Fort Retro, the place to shop online for high quality, clean, authentic retro games and issues of Nintendo Power. We just got in 20 issues of Nintendo Power from the 250s to the 270s. Go check those out at blockfortretro.com, along with a bunch of other stuff and some new gear coming in next week, probably. I got to clean it all, so I'll let you know what it is then. Also, before we jump into the show, if you're on Twitter or if you are on Twitch, a bunch of creators have gathered to support a creator that has been very sick for a while. His name is the Nintendo Guru. You can search for hashtag gaming for Guru and go and support that cause because Bobby is one of my favorite creators in the whole world. He was on our first episode when I started with Dad Crossing. And he just is such a supporter of the community, and he needs our support right now. So go check out hashtag gaming for Guru. Go support, go give. That's all I'll say about that is go do that thing. So now that all that's out of the way, John, how are you, man? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. My daughter got a guitar in late Christmas present. And I've been kind of going through teaching her some chords.
Oh, yeah?
Today as we had some free time.
Nice.
Yeah, she's been bugging me for a while. She's been wanting one.
I play the guitar, and it is not easy. It is tough. You got to get the calluses.
Yeah, I haven't played in several years, so picking it back up again, it's definitely got to take some time to hop back in and learn all the things that I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
But it's tough to retain everything.
The chords, once you start playing again, the chords are there. You just got to like play a little bit. I have to keep the callus up because I barely play these days. But yeah, I miss playing music. Miss it every day. I miss it.
It's definitely fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, did you buy or play anything interesting this week, John? I hear there's a couple things going on here.
So I was at a flea market and found a copy of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which I did not have. I owned it at one point, and I think I either let somebody borrow it or I can't imagine I traded it in, but it's always possible. But anyway, I found it for like $10.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't realize it, but that game is a $25 game loose almost now.
Sweet.
And yeah, so $10. I was like, I'll go ahead and grab that.
Yeah, why not?
And then also I picked up Banjo Tooie from the Block Fort Retro store.
Haha, yes.
Can't wait for that one to make it.
Yes.
You know, I don't know that I ever played Banjo Tooie. I played plenty of Banjo Kazooie, but I think I dropped off by the time the second game came out.
Me too. I don't think I ever even popped it in. It's just one of those games that eluded me. I would love to play it at some point. Is it on the Rare Replay collection?
I believe so.
That's like got everything on there.
Did any of the Rare games make it onto the Virtual Console? I'm not sure.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that. It just seems like, back then Microsoft and Nintendo weren't playing very nice, so I doubt that's something that happened.
I thought we had Donkey Kong and stuff, but I guess that's
still
Nintendo,
that's a Nintendo IP. So
yeah, yep. So anyway,
that's cool.
Yeah, I got those two, and then as far as what I've been playing, I haven't really played a whole lot over the last week, but I did find some time to finally play Celeste. This is a game that I meant to play when it first came out, like I was looking forward to. And then I found out they were releasing a physical copy. And I put an order in through Limited Run.
Hey, right on.
And I bought it at the same time as another game. I think it was Iconoclast, and that game got heavily delayed. And my copy of Celeste didn't even make it to my house till like almost a year after.
Oh my gosh!
After the game released. So by that time, I kind of was playing other things and forgot about it.
Oh
and
my!
Just got shelved. Yeah, I got shelved for a while. So finally, I pulled it off the shelf and popped it in this week because I just finished Immortals and was kind of playing Need for Speed for a little bit, just here and there. But that's not really a game that you just sit and sink a bunch of time into for me. So I was like, I need to have a side game. So I decided to finally try out Celeste, and I sat down for like 3 hours and just I couldn't stop playing.
Amazing.
Played through the first 3 chapters.
Yeah,
I like how it gives you the death count.
Yeah, I had a hard time with Celeste. I got to the point where you keep dying over and over and over and over and over again, which for me was probably like the 10th or 11th screen, and then I decided that this game is not for me. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, excuse me. I didn't have a hard time with the first chapter. Like, it was the training wheels chapter. Then second chapter rolled along, and I looked, and I had like 500 deaths.
Oh my gosh!
On that chapter.
Yeah.
I love how it's like, the death counter is good. The more deaths you have, the more you learn.
That's true.
It's telling you it's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the other thing that I played, which is kind of funny because I just needed a game to try out that second Dreamcast that I have to make sure it still reads discs for you. So I just threw Hydro Thunder in, and I ended up sitting down and playing for that for about an hour and a half.
Man, I love Hydro Thunder. I played it.
I played through the first easy courses, and I think I played through all the medium ones too. Man,
what a great game. I played it first in the arcade, and then when they had the Dreamcast port coming out, I was like, yeah, that's the one. Because the N64 port is just bad. It's just they had to cut so much out of that game to fit it on the cartridge. But the Dreamcast port is perfect. It's arcade perfect. I love it.
Yeah, the N64 is the one that I played first.
So oh my gosh!
Because I didn't have the Dreamcast whenever the game came out. And so I played the N64 port, then I played arcade, and then got the Dreamcast later on, the copy of Hydro Thunder. Yeah. So playing through that, I was like, man, I need to play this some more.
That's such a good game. The multiplayer is really good too.
Oh, it is.
Love Hydro Thunder. Awesome. Well, I picked up a couple things this week. I decided to get a copy of Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely in my top 3 Super Nintendo games. Just such a unique and awesome platformer for its day. And I played the heck out of it as a kid, and I still go back to it to this day. Just the transforming mechanics and shooting the eggs mechanics and all the puzzle solving. It's probably one of the best platformers ever, just for the pure puzzle aspect of it. It's just so unique. So I'm a huge fan. I know people don't like the whole baby thing, but I think that's actually a really the baby is annoying, but I think the mechanic of it, like losing your
cargo,
right? Losing your cargo and that being connected to your life instead of one hit death or whatever, just kind of felt more friendly and easier to deal with, and it was very forgiving, which was unique for a platformer at the time. So,
I think most people had a problem with the sound, though. It wasn't as much losing and having to go track him down. It was just the fact that he cried the whole time. He was floating in the air.
He's
in a bubble. He's safe.
Pretty panic-inducing.
Why is he crying?
It's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta get get the thing.
Yeah, it's like a timer.
Yeah, it was very stressful. And then as you talked about a second ago, I'm on the hunt for a Dreamcast. I want to get a Dreamcast. I want to get a couple games. So I'm on the hunt for a personal Dreamcast, because I want to also pick up some games for the store, but I can't do that unless I can test the games out to sell them. So I need my own Dreamcast to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, now you just need to find some AV cables, and I'll send mine over to you.
yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to do. I mean, I have a controller already, and I have a VMU, so I really just need the hardware with the cables, and then we're good to go.
Yeah,
So
I don't know where my other set of AV. If I find them, I'll include them in there, but I don't know where they would be.
yeah, you and I are gonna
Got checked everywhere.
You and I are gonna do a trade. We're gonna figure that out. Awesome. Well, with all that out of the way, let's jump into some Prices Retro. So, per usual, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, how we play Prices Retro is I'm going to give you a list of games, 3 to 4 games, and you have to guess what the whole lot of these games is worth in dollars, based on pricecharting.com's current valuation. So, once I give you the list and you guess, we're going to find out how close you are, and that number will be your score, and we see who's the closest at the end. Now, this week, we have Chris HL94 from our Discord who dropped us a community list. So I have that pulled up here. He spoiler blocked me from being able to view the answers. So I don't even know what the list is made of yet. But per usual, what we're going to do is John and I are going to do our own lists, and then we're going to add our score from Chris HL in with that list. So, John, why don't you go first this week, and we'll see how we do.
Sounds good to me. So I got an interesting list of games for you. To start off with, the first game is Link, The Faces of Evil for the CDI, the Philips CDI.
Oh.
Loose.
Okay.
Now remember, this is loose because this is a very different pricing if you have the whole thing. Second game, Castlevania Legends for the Game Boy, also loose. Third game, Tales of Fantasia for the Game Boy Advanced. I think it's Fantasia. It looks like that. Loose. And then the fourth game is the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color.
All right.
Also loose.
Okay. I only know one of these for a fact, the price. The rest of them are educated guesses. And Wand of Gamelon, or was it Wand of Gamelon? Oh no, Faces of Evil. That I have no idea. So I'm just going to do my best.
Faces of Evil.
Yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my best guess for this lot is just $100 straight on.
$100. Okay. All right.
So how'd I do?
So the total cost of my lot is $345.
I freaking knew it, dude.
And after we get done, we'll step through all the lists.
I haven't looked at that CDI game in probably 15 years.
It's gone up.
Yeah, well, duh.
Exponentially.
Oh my god.
This game used to be like you couldn't like give it away.
Yeah, I know. I worked at a game store and we had a copy. Couldn't give it away. Ridiculous. Yep. That makes me I'm so mad at myself for that. I should know better. All right. Okay, dude, you ready for your lot?
Yeah,
right.
Shoot.
We have Yoshi's Story for the N64, complete in box. Okay. These are all going to be complete in box. Yoshi Topsy Turvy for the Game Boy Advance, complete in box. Yoshi's Island for the SNES, complete in box. And Yoshi's Woolly World Blue Yarn Yoshi Edition for the Wii U, complete in box.
All right. I'm going to say $240.
Okay. You freaking jerk. All right. So the total for my lot is $264. God.
260 what for?
$264. Yep. A whopping
Awesome.
24 away.
$24. Yep.
Okay.
Well, you still have a chance because we have a
That's
bonus
right. We do
list
have a
today.
bonus list, and you could be totally dead in the water with this bonus list. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't
if
seen it. It's a long shot, but I could still win.
You only have $221 between us, so you can still catch up.
All right. Okay, so this is from Chris HL in our Discord. His list is NHL 94 for the Super Nintendo. Oh, hang on. Oops. Okay. I'm going to have to cover the prices with my hand because I think I gave him the wrong instructions about how to do this.
Oh, did you do the whole thing instead of just the price?
Yeah, I'll just cover it. It's okay. I'll cover it. We got to play fair.
Okay.
NHL 94 for the Super Nintendo loose. NHLPA Hockey 93 for the Super Nintendo. NHL 99 for the N64, complete in box. And Ice Hockey for the NES, complete in box. Let's see.
I'll let you guess first.
I'm gonna guess $30 because I don't see any of these being
$30, huh? I'm gonna say 80.
okay. So
That ice hockey's got to be worth something complete in box.
he didn't give me a total, so let's see here. 25, 44, 54, $62 is the yeah. Yeesh.
Yeah, I figured that ice hockey in the box is probably the most expensive
I know,
one.
but the rest of these I was like, this is $5. This is $2. This is
Hell,
$1. This is $5.
NHL 94 has got to be at least a $15 game, right?
All right, so NHL, I'll do his list first.
Yeah,
We'll
go
through.
for
Oh,
it.
he has a, let's see. Here he goes. Here he has something to say here. He says, I choose NHL 94 as it is my favorite sports game of all time, hence the name. And I recently found I have 2 copies of the game here at my home. NHLPA 93 greatly influenced the development of NHL 94, and it's fun to play on its own. The last 2 games are out of his sports collection, so he owns these games.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I guess he has them complete in box too, because that's what he gave me the price for. Okay, so NHL 94 for Super Nintendo, loose copy is $7.68. Honestly, I would have
Nice.
guessed way less than that, being a sports game. But
Well, I was thinking more since it's like the target game, for NHL in that time.
I know, but I mean, how many people are jonesing to buy that? It's just, I think the demand isn't there for it.
Well, I say that because since I've known Chris and his passion for NHL 94, I look for a copy of that game every time I go to a game store and I never see it.
Wow.
So I kind of figured that it's got to be, have somewhat value, but I guess not as much as I thought. Maybe it's just everyone held on to their copy.
Yeah, or I don't know. I have no idea. NHLPA Hockey 93 for the Super Nintendo, complete in box, is an $11 game. NHL 99 for the N64, complete in box, $21.51. And Ice Hockey for the NES, complete in box, is $23.30.
Nice. Yeah, I knew that was going to be the high dollar item in the group.
Yeah, I lowballed all of these because they're sports games, and I just automatically put them on like the lowest tier as far as like value goes. They just usually are. So it's kind of crazy to me how much some of these are worth. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris HL94, thank you so much for sending the list. I apologize for not giving you the correct instructions on how to display them. That was my bad, but I think we got through it anyway. I was able to cover it before I read too much. So that was My bad. So, do we have final scores there, John? I think we know who won. So,
so I am the winner this week. Your total difference was $277, and my total difference was $104.
Oh my gosh.
So, yep.
All right. So go ahead and do your lot.
Actually, hold on a second.
That sounded wrong. Yours sounded wrong.
Yeah, no, mine was only actually like less than $40 off, I think, or right around 40. So I'm gonna have to fix something in my calculator here. But anyway, it wasn't. I knew that even with my guess, there wasn't enough between us for it to matter. But still,
well, that's comforting, isn't it?
So go ahead and list your games off individually by price, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll move on.
All right, I'll do mine. Yoshi's Story for the N64 complete in box is a $70 game. Yoshi Topsy Turvy for the Game Boy Advance complete in box is a $47 game. Yoshi's Island SNES complete in box is a $76 game. And Yoshi's Woolly World Blue Yarn Yoshi Edition for the Wii U complete in box is $52.24. Now, what's interesting about that last one is that the pink and green Yarn Yoshi editions are both around $30 complete in box. But this one, the blue one, is up to $50. So I don't know why, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
I can't remember. I'll have to look and see which one I have.
I have the green one, for sure.
I think I might have the pink one.
Well, yeah.
Which means neither one of us have the high dollar one.
No, go.
Now I have all the amiibos.
Right.
The complete in box with the game. Oh, remember when the 3DS version came out?
Yeah.
And they introduced the Poochie amiibo?
Right.
That amiibo is worth some money now.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's
price turning to amiibo?
Like one of the most valuable ones. Huh? I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, they do. Hang on.
Yeah, look up the price of that guy.
$80 loose.
Yeah, I have one that's in box and I have one that's open.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the new new is $120.
Yeah, I have a new one in the box.
Goodness gracious.
I bought an extra one on sale for like $5 or $6 because they weren't selling at Best Buy. So I bought that one in box, and then I bought the complete one, the 3DS version that came with the game and everything for my daughter, and she opened her Poochie. I had to have an in-box one though for my set. So, but yeah, I noticed that the other day. That one just really skyrocketed up in value.
Well, dang. All right. Well, that's that. That's Price's Retro for this week, and also that is Poochie Amiibo talk for this week too.
Hold on, I got to tell you my list.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that Link, the Faces of Evil for the Philips CDI, that thing's $185 right now, loose.
Oh my gosh! I should have known. Disc. I guess like 30 on that one.
So, Castlevania Legends has also gone up quite a bit for the Game Boy. It's $116.
What's the complete in box price for Link?
Let me look real quick.
Now I'm curious. You have piqued my curiosity.
So complete is actually only at $2 more.
Oh my
but
gosh!
Brand new, it's $275 if you have a sealed one.
Okay, I don't.
And yeah, just the manual's going for $50. If you have the little manual that came in the CD, the crystal case, it's $50.
All right, weirdos. Go ahead.
All right, so Castlevania Legends for the Game Boy is $116. I didn't know if you heard me. So yeah, that one is outrageous too. That game used to not be near that much.
No, that's crazy.
Tales of Fantasia is $25 loose, And last but not least, Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color. A grand total of $19.
Yeah, I knew that one. The cheapest Pokemon game you can buy for the Game Boy, so that's...
It's a good game, too.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right.
Pretty solid for a card game on a cartridge.
That's surprisingly so, yeah. I remember... haven't played it in years, but I remember it being pretty fun. Let's jump into Crossplay next. So, this month on Crossplay, I challenged John to play Excitebike. As much Excitebike as you can muster. And John challenged me to play Super Metroid for the first time. And tonight I was streaming some. I got about an hour into the game, so I got through to Criteria, a little bit into Criteria, and then I had to stop to do the podcast.
Or Purple Zone.
Purple Zone, yeah, I made it to Purple Zone. I kind of messed up my save file. I played for 30 minutes on stream, and then I accidentally, instead of... Okay, so I saved in game, like went to a save point in the game, and then I went to do a save state for a suspend point, and instead of creating a suspend point, I loaded like a very old suspend point from when I first fired up the game in March.
That's not good.
And not only did that like kind of kill my suspend points, but I went over to the save files. And because I loaded it from a save file back in March, my save file from just now wasn't even there. So we had to start all over 30 minutes into my stream. And we didn't have to start all over. I had like 20 minutes into a file there. So I just could...
so you lost like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just continued that file. Which, like, not the end of the world, but I was so frustrated. I was like, I cannot believe. Oh my gosh! But the rest of it was fun. Yeah, really.
Yeah, as I say, that's better than making that mistake like 10 hours in.
Yeah, right. Jeez, not doing that. But I'm really enjoying it. My first experience with Metroid was a Metroid Prime on the GameCube. And then I went back later and played the original Metroid and got pretty far in that and enjoyed that quite a bit. Super Metroid, though, this is my first time spending any significant amount of time with it. And it's really interesting to me how much of Super Metroid made it into Metroid Prime. Just...
Yeah, the translation's pretty good.
Yeah,
from 2D to 3D.
Even like instruments they used and the music and the atmosphere and the eeriness of the music and the chozo, and just the architecture of everything. They just really nailed it in Metroid Prime. It just makes me more impressed with how Metroid Prime turned out, honestly. But I'm having a lot of fun. Samus feels a little sluggish. I don't really have much to compare that to Metroid wise, but
go back and play the first Metroid and then play this and then see how sluggish.
Exactly.
She won't feel sluggish at all.
So I think I'm just comparing her to like Mario, which, Mario's just as agile, whatever. So his like whole thing is jumping. But yeah, not too far into it. And I haven't even really had to use my guide yet, because you just kind of follow where you haven't been so far. I'm sure that there's points coming up later where it's just going to be, I'm not any idea where to go. And the guide doesn't super duper help you. The guide just kind of shows you, here's a map. Hang on, let me pull it up. Here's a map of, this is the official Nintendo Power Guide. It's like, here's a map of Brinstar and everywhere you can go in Brinstar. So it doesn't exactly like, it shows you where everything is.
It shows you where all the items are.
But it's not giving you like a chronological, like, here's where to go first or whatever. Oh, yes, it does. I didn't get far enough.
Yeah, you have to
into the guide.
You have to read to get that part of
whatever,
it.
John, shut up.
Can't just look at the maps.
I like the maps. All right.
The maps are good too.
Well, it doesn't give it to you chronologically though. It still only gives it to you by area. You know, so
Yeah.
you leave Brinstar pretty early and go to Criteria, and so you have to like flip around your guide.
Well, I don't think you really have to play the game in any particular order to an extent. I mean,
Really?
some of it you do to get power-ups, but like I think you can jump around a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's completely linear.
Well,
It's been a while since I played through it, but
my brother was on stream with me. He was helping me at the first jump. But all right, let's put that away. Anyway, overall, I definitely see why back in the day somebody might be obsessed with this game, because it's really unlike anything else on the Super Nintendo. You know, literally genre defining. So very impressed so far. Haven't hit any major roadblocks or anything, so I'm really liking it. How is Excitebike?
It's a good
Oh yeah,
one.
what do you have to say about Super Metroid?
I was just gonna say that to me, Super Metroid is definitely it's the definition of that genre of games for a reason. Like there's so many things that start with that game. The first Metroid's good, and it's kind of the building blocks getting you there. But what Super Metroid does is just totally explode all that, and it's so much larger. And there's so many more secrets in there and just different things. And that's kind of what builds that type of game. If without Metroid or Super Metroid, you wouldn't have like Symphony of the Night and other games that are in that same genre. It's definitely the founding game for that. And it's awesome. It's a really good game. You're going to enjoy playing through it as far as you get.
Yeah, it's really cool to see where the beginning of a lot of Metroidvania stuff started, you know. Just really
and the
cool.
music.
Yeah.
The music is definitely a defining moment.
Amazing.
Like you can it's one of the games where like you can, after playing it for a little while, you could literally, like, if someone else is playing it and you just hear the music, you know where they're at in the game. Like, it's one of those types of games.
Yeah, totally. They nailed the atmosphere. It's crazy. So crazy.
But yes, Excitebike is not so exciting compared to Super Metroid.
Oh, man. So what did you do in the game? What did you do?
So let me tell you about my first time just firing it up. I didn't realize that A was the accelerate. So I was literally driving the whole course with the turbo. on my first run.
Yeah, that
through.
would make it difficult.
Surprisingly, I was only 15 seconds off from the top time, which still gives you a 7th place, so you don't win. But after I figured out that the A button is how you actually accelerate, and you use the turbo, in between to mount speed for your jumps and things, I quickly went through the first 4 stages and kind of got hung up on the 5th one, I believe. It's a little more difficult. Timing when to rotate your bike forward and backward off of jumps takes a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
I think I played for about an hour and a half, and I got pretty decent at learning how to tilt the bike in the right direction. Timing the boost before the jumps is a little frustrating. Like, I had plenty of times where I would be in the middle of the jumps with no acceleration and just kind of crawling over the jumps. So yeah, it was definitely a game of the time. I don't know that it's gonna super keep me interested. I probably try to play one through all the way through the 5th or 6th stage. I think there's 5 or 6, and then I'll try to move on to the B scenario with all the other racers. I did watch the video. I'm trying to remember now who sent that our way.
Let me look.
Anyway.
Yeah, Eric Plunk.
Yeah, Eric's in it. That's
from
right.
Generation Gap.
I did watch the video. Yeah, that helped quite a bit. That was a very informative video. Lots of good information on the leveling of your bike and building your boost and things. Definitely helped me out quite a bit in the early getting started.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
And just a lot of good information in there about how the game kind of started. And I also learned about another game that I didn't know about that Miyamoto made just for the Famicom. Dang, I'm horrible. I can't remember the name of it either, but it's the one that's basically Pac-Man, but you're like a priest guy, and the whole mission, the whole point of the game is to defeat the devil.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But it never made it over to the U.S. because of its religious items in the game.
Right.
But yeah,
I forget what it's
I
called.
didn't know about that game, so now I'm gonna have to try to find a copy of it or something.
And like
to play.
Demon's Crest is the sequel or something, right?
Well, I don't know. This is a Nintendo-made game, like Miyamoto made it.
Well, okay. I'm not. I don't.
Whenever
remember. Somebody.
I don't want to hold the
somebody
show up,
listening to the podcast right now is like screaming at us. So just tell us.
Yeah, I know.
Tell me on Twitter. Go to Blockfort Retro on Twitter and just at me and tell me what it is, and I'll make a correction.
Yeah, after the show, I'll find it and I'll fill you in too.
Yeah.
But it definitely looked interesting. It was like I said, it's like a version of Pac-Man almost. You can definitely tell it's heavily Pac-Man influenced. But you're like a little guy that's collecting beads and like crucifixes and things.
Amazing.
And it has Satan at the top. But it's totally bonkers and definitely doesn't seem like it's pre-Miyamoto magic. Like you can definitely tell it's one of his earlier projects.
Hilarious. Yeah, you gotta love the early Miyamoto work where like, it's like, oh, like I could kind of see why this was cool, but not the Miyamoto magic we're used to these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Excitebikes, it's all right. I'll give it I give it a little bit more time. I have the rest of the month.
We were talking a little bit about this in the Discord, but do you own Excite Truck for the Wii?
I do,
yeah.
And I also have Excitebots.
Go ahead
and those are very good games. I played those.
Okay, yeah. I want to add.
Definitely not the same.
Let's add those to your crossplay assignment this week. So you gotta get the whole get Excitebike 64 in there too. The whole Excite anthology, the Excitology.
I always forget there was an Excitebike 64.
Oh yeah,
is it pretty similar to the original Excitebike, or is it more
have
like
never even
the other two?
touched it, so I wouldn't know. But you could tell us if you play it.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can find a copy of it.
Oh, you don't have it?
It can't be that expensive.
No, it's not. It's very much.
I don't have it.
Very cheap.
But if I can find a copy, I'll grab it.
Amazing. So we've got a couple games to talk about in this day in gaming history. We're going to jump into that, and we'll do our break a little later because I want to make sure we hit these community questions later too. So just two today, and John, I'm just going to tell you both of them because you have played neither of these. The first one,
I have not.
The first one is very timely. 31 years ago today, January 11th in 1990, Herzog Zwei for the Sega Genesis was released. I love Herzog Zwei. I think it's such a cool game, and it's very interesting. Mixture of top-down shooter and strategy. So if you want to hear me talk at length about it, you can go back and listen to episode 14, where we did our Game of the Year episode, because 1990. I love it. So I just picked up the Sega Ages version of it on the Switch to try to get back into it, because I am not about to go spend $50 on that cartridge. It's just not something that I'm willing to do.
What were the changes made to the Ages version?
I don't know. I got to play it. I'm not sure. I
just know that they're usually the definitive version of the game.
Yeah.
They usually make some quality of life improvements.
Definitely. I'll do we'll do when I actually get to play it, that'll be part of our what did you play this week discussion when I actually get around to it. I'll make sure that I include the changes that were made because
nice.
I love this game. The other one that I can talk more about is Resident Evil 4, 16 years ago today, January 11th, 2005, launched as an exclusive for the Nintendo GameCube. Turned out to be a timed exclusive, but we didn't know that at the time. Man, Resident Evil 4, the game that got me and probably most of the Resident Evil fans walking the earth today into the Resident Evil franchise. Just such a scary game. I have so many fond memories playing Resident Evil 4. Like cheating the upgrade system, making the shotgun the most powerful thing. What are you buying and what are you selling?
This one came with the chainsaw controller too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that thing goes for a pretty penny now too.
I bet
the GameCube version of the chainsaw controller is pretty expensive. And it was genre defining for its time. I mean, the Resident Evils that came before it were totally different games.
This is the first one that allowed you to have like free control. It wasn't a camera.
No.
Still camera, right?
And just it was a whole weapon upgrade system, and the second half was an escort mission, but it wasn't an annoying escort mission. It was actually pretty clever. They had like these huge boss battles that were so epic. I mean, I just remember the first one vividly because there's like the zombie fish underwater, and you're just on this dock, and oh my gosh. So freaking creepy. I don't know why
I didn't play this game.
Yeah.
The GameCube version of the basically the first game, the remaster. Mm-hmm. I guess it's a remaster. Yeah. Was the first time I ever played Resident Evil because I didn't have a PlayStation. And I had a buddy that he rented it and brought it over, and it was amazing. Like I'd never played anything like it. The first game.
Yeah.
And yeah, so by the time the fourth game came out, I mean, this was 2005. I was already kind of PC gaming by that point, and I just totally missed this one.
Side note: the Wii version of this game, in my opinion, is the definitive version with the pointer controls. Just something about shooters on the Wii that just they did a lot of them turned out really, really great, and this is one of them. One of my favorites, favorite Wii makes, if you will.
Yeah, I wonder how the Switch version holds up. I'll have to maybe check that one out.
I heard it's good. I mean, it's running a 16-year-old game, so
Yeah, I mean control-wise.
Oh yeah, I don't think that they included the motion controls from the Wii, which is unfortunate. So those are our this day in gaming history. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got a little bit of news and then a whole lot of community. Welcome back. We have a little bit of news to talk about before we do a giant, awesome community questions segment. We have a very interesting question from our community, and we're going to get it answered. But first, we've got a new Game Boy game from Green Boy Games. John, why don't you take this one? You dropped this one in our feed.
So this is basically a physical Game Boy game that is being released in 2021. The Kickstarter hasn't gone live yet. I think it's slated to release in April, so I imagine that Kickstarter is probably going to be pretty soon, and I imagine the game's already made and ready to go. They're probably just kickstarting for like pre-order type sales, similar to like who was that someone just recently did a Kickstarter, and it was basically the game was already done. Platinum Games with Wonderful 101.
Oh, right. It's done. We just want your money. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's similar to this. Just kind of see what kind of buyers they have out there ready to go. But I did a little bit of research in this Game Boy Games company. They've done like 6 or 7 Game Boy games now, and they're all new games that they've designed for the Game Boy hardware. So it's pretty neat. I haven't played any of them. They're kind of pricey. They're a little bit cheaper if you live overseas, where they come from. I think they're definitely a UK based company. I think some of their games that I've seen were going for like 40 or 50 pounds. So it'd be about $60 to get a hold of one. And I'm just not sure that I'm wanting to bite the bullet for a $60 Game Boy game yet. But definitely something cool. You don't see it a whole lot anymore. So
that is really cool. Yeah, I love reappropriation of old hardware into like for new games to play on old hardware. I think that's so cool. I'm excited for the future of that because that's definitely something I'm into.
And the game is called The Shapeshifter, and it is it says that Elliot meets a little elf who is asking for help. Save the elven world from the wizard's spell. To do this, the elf gives you the great power. You will become any animal you touch. So it's like some kind of weird game where you transform into animals to do things. So I don't know. They don't really give you a whole lot of screenshots or anything, but it looks interesting to say the least.
Neato. What else do we have going on this week too? The new 1UP Arcade. They're releasing their very own Killer Instinct arcade cabinet. That is awesome.
Yes.
It also includes so it's Killer Instinct 1 and 2. So the N64 game I guess, or is it the 2 arcade games? I'm not really sure what that means.
Well, Killer Instinct 2 was arcade only. The N64 game was a port of the arcade, but it wasn't identical.
Okay, that's good to know. We also have,
and that was Killer Instinct
We also
Gold.
have Battletoads and Battletoads Double Dragon. So this appears to be a pretty rare centric arcade cabinet that I am totally down with.
Yes.
That is awesome. Battletoads is so cool.
Yeah, I might have to buy this one. This might be the first one I buy.
Yeah. That is rad. I wish I could find one of the Turtles ones for a little cheaper, but this might be
cheaper than $400.
Well, yeah, because sometimes they go on a crazy sale, but you can't even find them for full price now. But
I think my Walmart still has a few of them.
Well, if they go on sale, let me know.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. You know what else would be cool in this arcade cabinet is Blast Core.
Man, that would be weird on arcade.
Blast Core arcade. Come on, we could do it.
It's somewhere in Japan it probably existed.
I don't know, man. Did they care about Blast Core anywhere in the world besides in my house?
I don't know. I thought it was an awesome game. Me too. But I don't see it being a very good arcade game. How it's set up.
Maybe you're right. The last bit of news is super random. Pokemon Red is being played in somebody's avatar on Twitter. This is just, I don't even know how to. Remember Twitch Plays? Twitch Plays Pokemon. Yeah. It's kind of like that where you.
How does that even work though?
You comment a direction, up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start, and then every second the avatar gets updated with a screenshot of the game that they're playing. So somehow he programmed that to happen. It is, let's see, where's his Twitter handle? At ScreenShakes. Yep. So
it's basically the same thing, just being done through the avatar and
it's
not.
it's in
Twitch.
his avatar. I don't know. That is so weird. People have way too much time on their hands to program something like that.
Apparently a goldfish beat a game here not too long ago too. So crazier things have been done.
This is just bizarre to me. Anyway, go do that. That looks like a fun waste of time. So that's all the retro news for this week. Let's do this community stuff. I'm excited about it. So Chris HL, this is a very Chris HL centric episode we have going on here. One of our more active members in the community, and we love our community over on Discord. You guys are the bread and butter of what we do here. You're the backbone. You are supporting us in so many awesome ways, and hopefully you feel supported by our content and by the stuff. We also have giveaways we have exclusive Discord exclusive giveaways. We just gave away issue 260 of Nintendo Power, which is the NES's 25th anniversary issue, the special subscriber edition that had this silver foil cover with a bunch of NES sprites on the front. It's beautiful. That was the one that was chosen by the winner because he could choose any of the issues that just came into the store. It's a beautiful, beautiful issue of Nintendo Power, and I am jealous that he gets it, even though I had it. I could have just kept it, but I decided to give it away. Anyway, if you want to be part of our community, super friendly community, all about retro gaming, all the things. If you're new to retro gaming and you're just starting your collection, or you're like a 40-year-old guy who's been collecting your whole life, it's a great place to be. You can find the link to the Discord in my Twitter bio, and I am at Blockfort Retro on Twitter. So go do that. All that to say, Chris HL94 asked in our community, I was wondering what everyone would consider to be the best year for game releases. It could be just the year of your favorite games were released, or the best in terms of quality games released that year. We have a few responses, but I want to get John, if you have a year in mind, do you know in your, like, off the top of your head, a year in gaming that was particularly good?
I don't think I have one that's any different than it's in the list. So. Okay.
So let's go through these.
I might add 2000 just because 2000 had a lot of good games for me. Mm-hmm. Had Majora's Mask, had Gold and Silver. I mean, there's quite a few good games in that year as well.
Awesome. But 1994 sticks out to me. Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that game in particular just. That's one of my...
And Game Boy Donkey Kong.
Right. Both of those are superb. I mean, both of those are... That's all I need on my list for it to be. But let's go through some of these community answers because they are pretty interesting. So Frosticles43 in our Discord says, I can't say what year specifically it was. 5 glorious years. But all I need to say... is GameCube. That's basically what he said. This guy loves his GameCube. I mean, that's true. Even just the GameCube launch year, Smash Brothers was in there, Pikmin was in there, the Rogue Squadron was in there. Just
Luigi's Mansion.
That was a really, really great launch year for a system. So. Yeah, even just the launch year of the GameCube, I'd say, is pretty killer. Eric Plunk back with his answer. He says 1998 for me. That's probably mine too. He says mostly because of Ocarina of Time. That year also saw such greats as Half-Life, Metal Gear Solid, Banjo-Kazooie, StarCraft, F-Zero X, Mario Party, Pokemon Red and Blue, Resident Evil 2. As a wrestling fan, he would be remiss not to mention WCW's /NWO Revenge. As well, 15-year-old me had plenty to be excited about that year. Had to edit my answer to include Pokemon Red and Blue. How could I forget that? Granted, I was never into Pokemon, but it's still such a huge piece of history. Yeah.
I'd have to probably say 98 for me as well. Yeah. Too many good games. He missed Gauntlet Legends, though.
Solid. It's a crazy good year. That is insane.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't... Okay, so there were no console launches that year, though. That was all like pretty much end of an era type of games you were getting. Because the
Game Boy Color launched in 98, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess you could... It's just kind of an iteration of Game Boy, though, ish.
Yeah. I mean, it had its own games, so...
Yeah. Spider-Shan coming at us with an answer. That is so difficult. I'm most nostalgic for the games that came out between 85 and 91, NES. Closely followed by the SNES years, 93 to 94 was great couple of years with the SNES and Game Boy. If I'm objective, though, I believe the best year in gaming, probably 2017 with the release of the Switch, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and so much more. Best launch year for any console, in his opinion. The 3DS was also turning out a lot of great games that year as well. That's a pretty good point. I mean, this is a retro show, but 2017 was pretty insane.
For the Switch, yeah, it was pretty big year.
And he didn't even mention Splatoon 2 or
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart, the Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah.
Oh, to go back to the last one, was it Dreamcast in 98?
Dreamcast was 99. 99.
99. Oh.
Yeah. That's also a pretty good year, though. 99.
Yeah. Those late 90s, early 2000s were, I was doing a lot of gaming.
I have a really hard time off the top of my head remembering the year that something came out. So usually with these kinds of questions, I have to do a bunch of digging. And I didn't for this question, but my answer would probably be 94, I bet. Just, yeah.
Dreamcast was 98 in Japan. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. No, I remember. I'll never forget 9999.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that just about wraps up episode 16 of RetroLogic. If you want to get deeper into the RetroLogic universe, you can follow me at Blockfort Retro. You can also check my bio and jump into our Discord, where we're doing giveaways. We're doing all kinds of events. Every week we have events going on in there. I'm streaming on Twitch every Monday night starting at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's also Blockfort Retro. And I will likely be changing all of that branding over to RetroLogic in the future. But for now, just go to Blockfort Retro anywhere, and that is all me for now. John, anything else from you over there?
I might try to do some streaming for Crossplay at some point. I'm at Super Dat Fast on Twitch, so
cool. Yes, and I'll be sure to retweet whenever he goes up, and so y'all can get that info too. So
it'll also be on Discord.
Yeah, or in the Discord. So thank you guys for listening, and be sure to leave us a review. I never ask for reviews, but if you're on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give us a good review if you like the show. If you don't like the show, you can just send me an email or something, because I would love to hear why you don't like it, but I don't really want everyone to know that. So, that's just bad for business, really. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will see y'all on the next one.
See you guys later.